Let's take a look at the skin model and identify the different parts of this model. First, let's look at the 3 layers. 2 layers of true skin and then the subcutaneous. This is the epidermis. That would be the stratum basale or basale right here. So epidermis, and then from here to here would be the dermis, and then this represents the subcutaneous layer or hypodermis. Okay, it represents a sebaceous gland. Remember, sebaceous glands are associated with hair follicles. This is a hair follicle, a cross section of a hair follicle. Another one, and this is a cross section of a sebaceous gland. Remember, the sebaceous gland produces sebum, and this mixes with cell parts as it erupts from this hair follicle, and this oily substance released by the sebaceous gland helps to keep the skin soft and pliable as well as the hair. So that's one type of gland. Here is another type of gland, the sweat gland. There's another sweat gland. There's another sweat gland. There's another sweat gland. Now these are equine sweat glands. They are found over all of the body except for the palms of the hand and soles of the foot, but high concentration on the forehead, the back, etc., etc. They produce sweat that helps to cool the body down, do the evaporation. Equine sweat glands. Another type of gland that's here is the apocrine sweat gland. Now this area represents skin of the sole of the foot and palm of the hand. So you have the 5 layer of skin there. And then this represents the axilla, the axillary area, which is armpit. And then this represents the rest of the body. Now remember, the apocrine gland is found in the armpit. It also has a cellular substance released with a yellow, fatty, sort of viscous fluid. It activates at puberty, and when bacteria mix with this, you get the odor when you don't wear your deodorant. And some say this odor is a sex scent. Okay, so this is one type of gland, apocrine, the apocrine gland, equine sweat gland, and the sebaceous gland. Okay, again, this is a hair follicle. And let's see what else we have here. Let's look at the layers of skin that you're responsible for. This is the stratum cornea, the thickest part. This particular layer is missing on all the other skin. This is the stratum basale or basal. It is connected to a basement membrane, a connective tissue that attaches it to the dermis. So the lowermost layer is the stratum basale or basal. The upper layer is the stratum cornea. Now you didn't have to remember it, but there are other layers there of stratum spinosum, granulosum, and then the lucidum. And the lucidum is the one that's only found in the on the sole of in the skin of the sole of the foot and the palm of the hand. Okay, there would be the basale, the armpit, axilla, and there's the stratum cornea, corneum. Same over here. This flakes off very easily. You shed this skin all the time. Okay, the derma papillae, those ridges which increase surface area. You find capillaries. These are arterioles, venules that go even smaller to capillaries to provide nourishment for all these living cells. Remember, in this area of the epidermis, you have cells undergoing mitosis constantly, but as they're being pushed up, they die and become keratinocytes, cells filled with keratin. Melanocytes will produce the melanin that will cover the nucleus. So where the sun's coming through here, the nucleus is covered by the melanin pigment to protect it, the genetic material from the sun. So because the sun can cause the radiation can cause mutation in that genetic material. In that papilla, you have the touch receptor for light touch. That's the Meissner's, or tactile corpuscles, but for light touch. And then you have this receptor that extends into the dermis down to the subcutaneous layer. It's called the lamellated or Meissner's corpuscles or lamellated corpuscles. Persinian corpuscles is what that's called. It's for deep pressure. These for light touch. Remember, you have pain, hot and cold receptors also here so that you can send information to the brain about your environment. No blood vessels here, and all these blood vessels, these are cross sections of blood vessels here represented. Now here's the hair follicle. That was the sebaceous gland, and there's the erector pili muscle that contracts. It's a smooth muscle that contracts and causes goosebumps, makes the hair stand on end a little bit. There's the hair root, the hair follicle, the hair papillae. There's the blood supply. This is the area of cell division where you have living cells. They're pushed up and keratinized, become keratinocytes, and the melanocytes release the melanin, and the melanin is added down here to give the color of the hair. These black lines are representing nerve processes, nerves, and I mentioned the blood vessels. Okay, let's look at the parts of the hair follicle. There's the hair follicle right here. The hair shaft extending above the hair follicle, the hair shaft. Pores, sweat glands or Equine glands. We said the sebaceous gland associated with the hair follicle, the hair shaft, dead, keratinized, containing melanin for pigment, colored hair, region of cell division, viable DNA so that you can do a DNA test if it is plucked or falls out, only if it contains this area. The rest, these dead cells here, do not have good DNA, so it's very difficult to get a match there. And then blood vessels. Okay, let's look at the next picture. Pretty similar model. Let me go over the parts real quick of this model. There's the sebaceous gland, the hair follicle with the erector pili muscle. There's the 4 layers of skin there, and then the 5. Axillary area, palm of the hand, sole of the foot, and the rest of the body. Equine, or regular sweat gland. There's another equine or sweat gland. Cross section. The proscenium lamellated corpuscle that activates with deep pressure. These are Meissner's or tactile corpuscles, light pressure, and the nerve process from these. Okay, there is the epidermis, the dermis, and the subcutaneous layer. No blood vessels, lots of blood vessels, lots of major blood vessels here, blood vessels here. The hair follicle, the hair shaft, the root, the area of cell division, the follicle, the papilla there, with the blood vessels closely associated with it to provide nourishment for those dividing cells. This is the area that you have the most cellular division. Here is the stratum basale or basal. And as these cells get pushed up, they flatten, become keratinized, colored from melanin. Okay.